Yoda's master was not only one of the greatest Jedi to ever live, but also one of the rarest. Over 800 years before the rise of Darth Sidious, a young, emerald-skinned boy that the galaxy would come to know as Grandmaster Yoda was placed in the care of a strange, slithering Jedi in exile, a unique creature from the uncharted territories in the Outer Rim. Who was this being, and what wisdom did he impart to Yoda in order to make that Jedi so powerful? This is today's underrated moment. By the time Yoda entered the Jedi Order as a youngling, it had only been a few decades since the end of the New Sith Wars, marked by the final battle of Ruusan in 1000 BBY. In the relative peace and prosperity that followed the destruction of Skir Khan's Brotherhood of Darkness, the Jedi once again became the bringers of peace to the galaxy. From the depths of Hutt space, in the rarely visited swamp worlds that dotted the Outer Rim, a being known as N'Kata Del Gormo entered the Jedi Temple, a member of the Hysalrine species. N'Kata shared more in common with the Serpentines aliens, like the Thespians, than he did with the typical humanoids. Although N'Kata chose a random swamp-covered world as his home, his people were originally from Hysalria, likely a planet under the control of one of the Hutt clans following the Great Hutt Cataclysm of 15,000 BBY. Like the Thespians, the Hysalrians were giant creatures at least 12 feet long with the tip of their tail to the brim of their nose. Most of their body looked like a smooth, scaleless basilisk, often black or blue, their skin ranged in color, just like the dragon snakes of Dagobah. Unlike typical humanoids, the Hysalrians had an extra set of arms, giving them a total of 4, which helped them immensely in battle, and their heads featured the same number of eyes. 4. They were stacked on top of each other like 2 massive sets of goggles. When we look at Yoda's master, we see that he is actually one of the only examples of the Hysalrians that was documented in Republic records, so there might have actually been a greater variety of physical traits that we've yet to see. When we look back at N'Kata's time at the temple and how he trained, we can't find much. Just as his species is a mystery, N'Kata's own life seems to have been little more than a legend. Since he achieved the rank of Master in the years following the Ruusan battles, it's likely that N'Kata carried the great burden that many High Republic Jedi suffered with, the knowledge that the Sith might, yet again, rise to power, and they needed to be prepared at a moment's notice to defend the Republic. In order to achieve the rank of Master at that time, N'Kata must have been incredibly gifted with the Force, and an extremely talented lightsaber duelist. From what we know of the Jedi, we've never seen him wield one of the fabled Kyber power weapons though. Instead, N'Kata favored a special staff that was adorned with a mysterious crystal at its tip. It's likely that the weapon was fashioned in the same style of the original Jedi Force-imbued blades of Tython, at least 35,000 years before the rise of Emperor Palpatine. Those weapons, perfected by Tem Medog, were able to repel lightsabers in battle, as a later Jedi, Vodo Siask Bas, proved in his duel against Exar Kun on the Senate floor of the Republic around 4000 BBY. For some reason, perhaps as part of the Baresh Vow, an ancient ritual that Jedi partook in to deepen their connection to the Force, or perhaps as another form of exile, N'Kata left the core worlds and Coruscant. He ventured to a remote swamp planet, much like the home his fellow Hysalrians populated for millennia prior, and lived the rest of his days as a hermit. It was during his time on an uncharted Outer Rim world that a chance encounter with a crashed starship brought N'Kata into contact with Yoda. While journeying across the Outer Rim, Yoda's ship was brought down on the same world that N'Kata called home, along with a human companion, who the Republic records failed to identify by name. Yoda was embraced by the Hysalrian Jedi, and it only took a short while for N'Kata to discover a great secret about the mysterious green alien in his presence. He was one of the most naturally gifted Force users he had ever encountered. With no hope of repairing their starship and the opportunity of becoming Jedi tantalizingly dangled in front of them, Yoda and his friend decided to become N'Kata's Padawans. Again, since much of Yoda's master is regarded as myth and legends, we can't truly say what of this tale is true, and what has been exaggerated through years of retelling. But Yoda's time on the mysterious swamp planet which N'Kata inhabited must have been filled with exercises, very much like what Yoda would later force Luke to complete. It doesn't take too much to imagine a younger version of the Grandmaster sitting alongside N'Kata's slithering, serpent-like body as the older Jedi watched his new Padawan levitate stones and leap through the jungle canopy. After some time had passed studying under N'Kata, a Republic rescue vessel approached the Outer Rim world. A beacon aboard Yoda's downed ship had been broadcasting an emergency message the entire time, and eventually help showed up. N'Kata urged his Padawans to go to the core world of Coruscant and continue their education under the guidance of the Jedi Council and their many masters. After some time had passed, Yoda would become the Grandmaster of the Order, serving it until he was 900 years old. But the fate of his master, the Hysalrian Jedi known as N'Kata Del Gormo, is a little less clear. We can't be sure about this species' lifespan, but it's clear that only a few sentient creatures in the galaxy were as long-lived as Yoda. Besides that tiny green species, the Hutts and the Safai of Thrustra, it's unlikely that many more beings could break past 400 years of age. Knowing that, it's probably that after sending Yoda to Coruscant, N'Kata remained on his remote Outer Rim world until his death, passing peacefully into the Force long before the darkness of Darth Sidious could ruin the golden age of the Republic.